Let the negative go to exhale. Believe. Break your mind out of jail. As long as you believe, you can never fail. Breathe. Exhale. Let the negative go to exhale. Believe. Break your mind out of jail. As long as you believe, you can never fail. Breathe. Exhale.
Welcome to today's nugget, Noonday Nugget. Here you will receive little nuggets in the form of a devotion or a scripture or a prayer. We also will have different professionals that will co-host with me to give you valuable lessons in different stages of finances, purchasing a home, health and wellness, nutrition, and so much more. So let go of all the negative and change your thinking and believe you have the power to rewrite your story. If you are here watching the replay, welcome and thank you. Please put in the comment section #replay and the time you are watching. Please don't be shy about questions or statements that you may have during the show. They are all welcome. Today's show is sponsored by Manu Williams of Wyckoff Realty. Thinking of buying or selling a home in the Northern Virginia area? If so, give Manu Williams a call. With over 15 years of experience, she will guide and support you through the process. Manu always puts 100% into helping her clients, and her motto is exceptional service every time. You can contact Manu at 571-264-7217 or email her at manuwilliamsrealtor@gmail.com. So today's nugget is titled, It's Okay to Have a Moment, Just Don't Stay There. This is based off of a situation I had yesterday. As I say in my open statement, challenges may make life interesting, but overcoming them is what makes them meaningful. I'd be lying if I say I was strong and supportive 100% of the time. I remember my very first breakdown I had during this journey. My first surgery left me with a permanent ostomy, which I call her Devlin. And you guys can look up what an ostomy is. Before I received the surgery, of course, they give you training on how to take care of it. And I thought I had it under control. Well, after the surgery, and they took me off of the liquid diet and started giving me food, now I actually have to really clean Devlin. And I wasn't prepared for that. And I just broke down. I cried in the bathroom. I said, I can't do this. I wanted to quit. The nurse came in, she tried to comfort me. And and Monty was still at work. So I was just a real hot mess. But by the time Monty got off work and he came in, I had pulled myself together. I prayed. And I'm glad I didn't stay in that moment, because the nurse, she saw me break down, and that was the first time she saw me at a weakness. And she called the chaplain. She said, I know you guys are praying people, so I hope you don't mind, but I asked the chaplain to come by. And like I said, thank God I didn't stay in that moment, because I had to, not me, but more so Monty than me, but we had to minister to the chaplain, because he had some form of cancer, and he just kept saying, anytime he feels something, he runs to the doctor. And not once did he say that he prayed, and he, talked about his faith as far as getting through what he's going through. So, I had my moment. I, dwelled in it for a little bit, but I got right back up. Well, yesterday it happened again. I had another moment. Since I had my lung surgery in December of 2016, I've always had pain on my left side. And, but maybe the past month or so, the pain has gotten worse, and it's moved to my shoulder. And I have a high tolerance for pain, but this just pushed me to my limits. I was in tears many, many nights. And my husband even said there were some nights I cried in my sleep due to the pain. My doctor ordered a MRI, but I have a titanium disc in my neck, and they couldn't see past that. So she ordered a EMG. Well, I didn't actually know what to expect. I tried to Google it, but even what I read on Google did not prepare me for what I experienced. And yeah, it was really, really bad. It was really painful. I got to the point where I wanted to just give up. This was a time that I really wish I knew what I was walking into. And, I wish that we had planned for Monty to be there. But like I said, I didn't know what to expect. Um, this test, it it measures the muscle response or electrical activity in response to the nerve stimulation of the muscle. So it started with the doctor putting a needle in here. And when he put the needle in there, he had to move it around. And what I was hearing, it was almost like listening to when they listen to the baby, the ultrasound, and you hear all of the baby moving and stuff like that. So that's what it felt like. And he worked his way from here all the way up my arm, different spots, to the back of my neck in 3 different areas. And I'm telling you, with each stick, it was probably 9 to 10 different areas he tested. And I was pushed to the point where I just wanted to quit. I was ready to give up. I was tired of all these tests and no diagnosis. And when I say it was painful, it was very painful because you know that this is a very, very sensitive area. Here is very, very sensitive. So there were places that he was sticking that just, I don't think needles should go there. But, that's what he had to do. And I left the office crying. I was just so messed up and so, just like tired. Like I said, I just wanted to quit, but I'm not a quitter. So I called Monty and, I told him about it. And, he was a little upset that he wasn't there. But like I said, we didn't know what to expect. So, I was just messed up for a moment. So I, I think I went to the BX and, kind of got myself together because the good news with the EMG was that everything was normal. So whatever the pain is coming from is not from the nerves or from the spine. The not so good news is we still don't know where this pain is coming from. But I know that I just wanted to go home and lock myself in my room and just say, I quit. That's where I was yesterday. And, but I got to the point where I realized God had my back. I remembered that this journey is not about me. And God is using this challenging point in my life, this challenging journey, to glorify him. And that's what I'll choose to do. Like I said, you could have your moment, but pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep traveling down that road that God has for you. Because when you share what you're going through with others to help them, and you're not so concerned about yourself, God is going to bless you for it. Regardless of what I do or how I'm feeling, I come here to encourage, uplift, and inspire you guys and those around me. And I know that, God will bless me for it. And I don't think initially we didn't do this because we were looking for blessings. We did it because we knew it was the right thing to do. I mean, we couldn't change the situation. So, why dwell in it so long? I already know that I'm walking in my healing. It just hasn't manifested where you guys can physically see it yet. Even though I tell my doctors, I'm healed, I'm fine, I'm going to be okay. I think I shared with you guys before that when between the time I was diagnosed and my first surgery, I told them, I said, you're going to go in there, you're not going to find anything. And that was my stance throughout the whole 9-month time frame I had to wait before my surgery. And when they had the surgery and they cut out, what they needed to cut out to test, the tumor was gone, and they didn't find any cancer in what they cut out. So, like I said, my God has my back. I'm not worried about anything. And I know that I could sit here and smile, and, I would never, I'm glad I don't look like what I'm going through, because I always have to have that smile for that one person out there who may really need to grab onto my message and pull themselves up so that they could keep fighting and they could keep going through the battle. But, like I said, God doesn't give us more than we could handle. And my husband tells me this a lot. His saying is, what is it? Oh, it's God. Here it is. God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. And I really understand that, being military and everything. But I know that whatever is thrown at me, God feels that I could handle it, and that I'm going to do right by it, whatever it's supposed to, be, whether it's, speaking to someone, encouraging them, or praying for somebody, because my goal is to, when people see me, I want people to see the God in me. I don't want to have to go around and tell people, oh, I'm a Christian and I pray and I go to church and everything. I just want them to see that when they look at me, or feel that when they look at me. So it's just, and you have to be that way, because you never know when you're going to get into a situation. Immediately following that appointment, like I told you yesterday, don't take your situation or issue out on other people. And I say yesterday, but I meant Wednesday. But immediately after my appointment, like I said, I went to the BX. I always back into my park. And when it was time for me to go, I needed to make a U-turn in order to go out the direction. I was in the first handicap spot, and there was a walkway there. So because I couldn't see behind me, I judged my movement on people in the crosswalk, because when there's people in the crosswalk, the cars stop. So people were crossing. I did my U-turn. There was a motorcycle flying down the hill. And just before the crosswalk, it was very dramatic, slammed on brakes and looked at me like, and I was like, if you wasn't speeding, you wouldn't have a problem. So I drove off, not realizing that this motorcycle had U-turned and now was next to my truck and pointing to roll my window down. And I rolled my window down, and she's yelling whatever, and I was like, ma'am, if you wasn't speeding, you wouldn't have anything to worry about. And she was like, that's always an excuse. And she's going on. So I rolled my window up. I'm like, I'm not going there, because I'm still trying to get my head right from this procedure, this appointment. But I had already been praying. I had already spoke with my husband. So, I was coming up out of my moment, but I wasn't completely out of my moment yet. So if I would have allowed her actions and everything that she was doing or saying to me to dictate how I react, it wouldn't have been, really good, because I always say, thank God that I'm saved, because that person I used to be, yeah, she was a tad bit crazy. Sometimes I think about the stuff she did and it scares me. But, because I was coming out of my moment, and I knew my character and where I should be, and that I wasn't staying there. So it just totally changed my mindset on dealing with her. I mean, she cut me off at the stop sign and was still fussing. My window was up. I'm not talking to her or anything, but she's like trying to catch up with me and driving in the other lane, which is oncoming traffic. One point there was a truck. She had to pull back behind me, wait for the truck to pass, and then come around to get back to my window. So I'm thinking she's fussing at me for something she think I did back there that was a safety hazard, but yet she's driving into oncoming traffic. Again, I'm coming out of my moment. It's okay to have it, but just don't allow yourself to stay there, because bad things could happen when you allow yourself to stay in that moment. When you're not filled with the word or filled with peace, that's the devil's playground. And he could cause you to say or do something that is unlike your character. And I was put in that position yesterday. I was pushed to my limit. And with the situation that happened with the lady on the motorcycle, it could have made me come out of character. And I don't know who was watching, who was around. I have signs on my door for my hair care business. So my truck stands out. It's not like I could do something and get away with it. But the integrity in me, I'm going to operate. What you see is what you get. So going through that, what I say is one of the most painful procedures I went through. I allowed myself to have that moment so that I could get right and get back into my character. When you're going through things, no one's expecting you to be Superwoman or Superman, where, just because you're saved, you should be able to carry everything, carry the weight of the world. And that's not true. Even though we may be fighting a battle and we may look strong, I have moments. A few times. And some of them I share with you, but there are some that I don't. But don't think that because you see me on here and I'm always smiling and I'm always, trying to cheer you guys on. I have moments and I'm okay with that. And if you have moments, you need to be okay with that too. But after you go through that moment, and there's no determined time on, a moment is just 1 minute, or you get 20 minutes and, time out, or whatever the case may be. You have to judge how long that moment is going to last. But you also have to make sure that it doesn't last too long where you are unable to get out. But when you do get to those points, just say, it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to pray. I'm going to talk to my confidant. I'm going to talk to my spouse. Whatever it is that you do to get out of that moment, make sure you do that. And keep walking on that journey that God has for you. Because like I said, if you allow yourself to stay in that moment, the devil is going to start putting things in your mind and giving you thoughts that are unlike God, that is unlike your normal character. So take control over those, and you need to take a moment every now and then. Because if you don't, it could build up, and that's not good either. So I had my moment, but I didn't stay there. I got up, dusted myself off, and now I'm here with you guys, hoping that my story gave you something to hold on to and continue to fight your fight. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you found your nugget. I'm here every Wednesday and Friday with the Noonday Nugget. So I would like for you guys to join me on Sunday at 6 p.m. Our guest will be comedian Tanya Lewis. Tanya is an all-around entertainer whose performance will have you cracking up as she shares her Christian stories about her Christian experience. She will share how God restored her after many different obstacles in her life. And she will expound on how God showed her that he had a different plan for her life. God made her crooked path straight. and gave her the opportunity to tell of his goodness and courage to share her story. So again, thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend and be blessed.
Exhale, let the negative go. To exhale, believe. Break your mind out of jail. As long as you believe, you can never fail. Breathe. Exhale, let the negative